Hey guys, this is Steve Quillian from Wood Window Makeover in the back of our Wood Window Museum, and I'm getting ready to cut some pieces of glass, laminated glass, in shapes like this by hand. And I thought maybe you'd want to watch. So we're in the middle of making a bunch of storm windows, and we got some radiused storm windows, and I thought that, gosh, it's such a cool thing to do. Wouldn't you want to watch? And I think maybe, you'd want to see. So laminated glass, you can see it's got two layers of glass. So it's not like cutting a normal piece of glass, which you would score a line and then snap it on the score. This, you're going to watch how I do it. I have to score it on both sides, okay? So I'm going to use just a regular Fletcher cutter. I'll show that to you in a minute. I've got a spray bottle with some denatured alcohol as a solvent that's going to help dissolve a membrane that is sandwiched in between the two pieces of glass. So, laminated glass, you might not be familiar with it, but it's basically safety glass. It's the kind of glass that is in your windshield of the car that you drive. So like if you've ever had one of those pebbles just hit your windshield, thrown up by a truck or something like that, and it gets that little crack in there. Well, the outer face of the windshield will crack, but the inner won't. That's because it's got that flexible membrane on the inside, and that's for safety purposes. And down here in Florida, where we have things like hurricanes, we found that people really like the option of putting laminated safety glass in their storm windows, because in a historic house, in other houses too, but in a historic house, basically, if a hurricane comes, people are boarding up their windows. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a storm window that gave you the protection of plywood, but you can see through, and gave you the energy savings that you're looking for, because most people don't know this, but the historic windows that emerged at the turn of the century were optimized for storm windows. So like down here in Florida, where we would traditionally put a screen in the outside of the frame, it mounts to the outside of the frame. Up north, the exact same window, they hang storm windows. Well, in our culture, with the rise of air conditioning and comfort, well, we have the same need down here with storm windows. And so the cool thing with a storm window is that you can, for a fraction of the cost of replacing windows in a historic house, you can add a storm, gather the energy efficiency that you want, and retain the authenticity of your house. So that's what's really cool about storm windows, right? And so we're starting to use a lot of this laminated glass. So if you want to, watch me cut it, I'll show you. Hey, Michelle is watching. Can you guys hear me? I've got a microphone on, but the other day it didn't work so well, so I'm just asking the question. So let me know. Okay, so, you want to see what we're going to do? Look, okay, so here, I'm going to change the direction of the camera. It's just me with the camera, so I'm going to do the best I can to give you the best camera work possible, okay? But I gotta confess, one person with a camera is not the best, right? So I'm going to cut these two panes right here. And so over here, I've got, and these are my full sheets over there. These are my cutoffs. And I've got a cutoff here that's going to allow me to fit these two pieces right there. So let me back the camera up a little bit so you can see me go get my stuff. Okay. This is the piece that I want. Okay. I'm just going to lay it up here on the storm window itself. Okay. Excellent. He says, just excellent. Okay. So what I'm doing, let me change the camera angle again. Okay. So what I've done is I've placed the oversized sheet so it lays over the cuts that I want to make, okay? That's really, really important. See that? And so I'm going to go ahead and fix it, adjust it really quick. But I want this to be just inside my cut line right there because I'm going to take advantage of the straight line of the glass and put the straight line of the glass against the straight line of my Munson right there. See that? And I'm going to do the same thing down here. So I have it straight. Yeah, pretty much. Well, maybe it overlaps just a little. But that's okay. No, it's in there good, see? Good, it fits perfect. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this triangle right here off, okay? And I'm just going to use this typical Fletcher cutter that you can order online. It's less than $10. It's always $7 maybe. Oh, I get that online. So first I'm just going to score this line. I'm going to score it on the inside of this Munson here. Okay, and I'm just going to trace the line. Good. All right, and while I'm there, I'm also gonna trace this line and that line. Okay. So all alone here in the shop. Yeah, it's nice and quiet. You know, everybody's left for the day, so I can come in here and do some of the work myself, which I love to do. Okay. Yeah. Trace this line now. And on the inside of my curved Munson. Okay. I'm just going to go to my initial scoring lines right there. So now I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to trace through the glass these lines I've just scored. So, Before I do that, let's see if I can show it to you, see what it looks like. I don't know if you can see these or not. These scored lines. Oh, you can see it. Okay, so there's a scored line right there, and there's a scored line there, and there's a scored line there. And so now I have to trace it. And so I'm going to take I didn't show you the wheel, but there's a tiny wheel up there. And I'm going to put that wheel right on top of my initial line and make a second line on the back side. You still see? Good. There we go. Good. And I'm going to trace my other two lines there. You hear that sound? That sound, it's kind of like a tiny grinding sound. That's the sound of accurately scoring the glass. Okay, so now what? Those lines are scored. So now I have to snap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this straight line here, that's my easy one, and I'm going to put it on the edge of my window here, and I'm going to so I get my hands in there, I'm going to bend it, okay, and create a crack there, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to split it on the other side. Okay, so I've got it there. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It is a little dark in here. So maybe I can get it from the other angle. Oh, so you can see the score right there. It's right on the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of pressure, lift up the glass here, I'm going to bend it. I'm going to snap it a little bit. Sometimes it'll crash. Oh, hear that pop? It reminded me of a chiropractor pop, right? So that line just became a little bit more defined. I don't know if you can see that or not. See that? Sorry for the moving the camera, but that line has just become more defined. That means it's split on one side. Flip it over, do the other side. Oh, there we go. Okay, now look. See how it's wiggling? It's wiggling like a loose tooth. All it's holding it is that membrane in the middle. Okay? So now, reach over in front of the camera. Pardon me. I'm going to stretch it a little. Okay? Oh, see it's starting to stretch? I'm going to take some of this alcohol in here, denatured alcohol. I'm going to spray it in the crack. And this is the solvent that's going to work to dissolve the membrane in the middle. So it'll slowly start to fall down as it melts the membrane. It's gentle the way it works, actually. And I think if I don't think it's enough, I can always spray a little bit more in there. So the crack is increased, so now it's got more. Oh yeah. Oh, see, isn't that nice? Boom. So I've got a rag here. I'm gonna wipe all the solid off of there. Okay, so I'm gonna take this piece and set it down, move this guy just out of the way for now. That should be far enough out of the way. All right. Okay, so then, that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now I'm going to, oh man, the light's so bad in here. Let me get it on this side here. Maybe you can see better now. Oh, you can see the score now. That's where I'm going to split next, okay? If I can do it like this. Wouldn't that be cool? Grunt? No? Okay. I'm going to put it over here on the table. I'm going to split it here. Oh, yeah. Little crack. Maybe you heard it. Very faint sound of that crack. Oh, there we go. There's that loose tooth again. Okay. Boom. Okay. One of the things you gotta be careful for is because the pressure of the glass, the two pieces of glass on the underside are pressing against each other, they'll create little shards of glass that come out. So you have to be really careful. Some will argue that I should be wearing gloves. And I think if I got a piece of glass in my hand, I probably would put a pair of gloves on. I would recommend that you wear gloves if you did this. Boom. So, that's got a nice curve to it, see? All right. I'm gonna just throw that in my little, I got a little throwaway bin right there. Okay, that's not what I need. I need this piece, okay? So there, for now, you see that? Let's see if you can see the, oh, you can see the score mark in there now. Now I'm gonna do that one. That's gonna take a little bit more finessing. The curve is longer, so I wanted to get my practice up before I went on that one, so I'll try to split it here. Ah, there it goes. Okay. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Now, got a good break there. So now you can see that line is much more defined. Okay, now I just have to soak it in some of that alcohol and start working it loose. Okay, so I'm going to sit down here, reposition my camera so you can get a full visual of what I'm doing as I go. So my cable's tangled up. Forgive me. All right, so there. Here I go. So I'm going to stretch it just a little bit, create some room for my alcohol to get into the crack. I'm stretching that membrane in between the two pieces of glass. So I've done this piece here before on the other side, and I cracked this piece doing it. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen again. Yeah, see, this one's not so agreeable. It's more resistant to folding because it's not a straight line, it's a curve, and so it's definitely got some attitude. So I'm putting constant pressure on it, stretching it. Okay, some more of this stuff in there. You can hear it, maybe you can hear it crackling. So nice. Ah, you know what? There's another trick too. I don't know if this, one of our coworkers here, Chris Poulos, suggested taking a little razor blade like this and cutting the membrane, and that worked really well. So this is not my piece, but that's a cool looking piece, right? You know, cutting on a curve. So what I did is I started melting it with the denatured alcohol in the bottle right there. It's just a spray bottle, and then I finished cutting the membrane with this little razor blade. So now this is scrap as well, so set my scrap underneath there, and let's see if I did a good job. Okay, what that means is if I did it right, it should fit, right? So you wipe the solvent off of here. Okay, excellent. Okay. What happened? That doesn't fit. Oh, well, it only fits in one direction, so that means it's probably going to fit this way. And it does. So, isn't that nice? Okay, so that's one, and I've got one more to do. Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in, and haven't seen the whole process yet, I'll go through it again, right? So I'm going to take my oversized piece of glass and I'm going to set it on top of the window where I want to cut it into place. Okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm lining up the straight edges of my glass with the straight edges of my divider muntins, okay? And then I'm going to trace my lines here, okay, to give me my mark. I don't have to mark it with a Sharpie or anything because I can trace it with a Sharpie and then cut it with my tool. But why don't I just cut it with my tool? So that's what I'm going to do. And I think I've got my tool in my pocket, yes. So the tool that I'm using, again, is just this regular little Fletcher cutting tool. It's got a little wheel at the end of it, hardened steel, that creates a scratch in the glass. And where that scratch is, I exploit that weakness in the glass, and it breaks on that weakness. So that's what happens. So I'm gonna raise the camera up a little bit, give you a little bit different angle, okay? Maybe it'll help you see better. That's kind of fun, doing it from that angle. You know, that'll let me get in a little bit closer, right? So here, listen to the sound. It's got a really nice sound. It reminds me of like those Geiger counters, you know, that the sound that a Geiger counter makes to detect radioactivity. There we go, okay? So there's that. So now what I'll do, I'll just flip it, okay? And then I'll trace my lines again. Look, I'll set it so like you can see my line now. It's on my muntin, okay? So I'm gonna use that to my advantage. I'm gonna move the camera over a little bit so I can stand where my camera is. Can you see that? Let's see if I can blow it up a little bit. Nope, doesn't allow me to blow it up. Oh yeah, it does, look. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. Let me back up just a little. Good. Maybe a little bit more? Sure. Okay. There we go. Hopefully my head's out of the way. I'm going to trace this line. So I'm scoring the glass on both sides because it's two pieces of glass laminated together by a membrane in the middle. Okay, so move the camera over a little bit to my next one. Okay, right there. So my score line right here, I'm going to move it over on top of the white part of the window so that I can see it. And I'm going to take this tool on the score line. Excellent. Okay. So now that it's scored, I'm going to zoom the camera back out again. Okay. There. Change my angle. And then I'm going to go through the process of cutting these little pieces off. Okay. So this piece is going to be scrap. This first little corner here. So I'm going to snap it gently. I'm trying to snap right here. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I'm going to flip it over. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, good. I'm going to spray my juice in there. Solvent juice. This is denatured alcohol, is what it is. Okay? And denatured alcohol is readily available at the home store. Take my razor blade here, cut that membrane fit, and boom, that came out pretty nice, huh? So that's my scrap piece. Let me just put that in the trash. Okay, and so now I'm gonna do the same thing here. Now one thing, here's something that you need to know. I discovered this the hard way, is that as you cut the glass, little shards of glass go everywhere, and if you drag the glass across those shards, it'll scratch the glass and ruin all of your work, because you don't want to put a scratched piece of glass in a new piece of work. So, didn't know that at first. I do now. Okay, so that's snapped. Flip it over here. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now, see how it's wiggling like a loose tooth, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take that spray, I'm gonna spray it in that crack, okay? I'm gonna start to stretch it, okay? Oh, I can hear it. I can hear the glass stretching the membrane. So, I'm gonna try this razor blade again. See if I can get inside that crack. Oh, so nice. A couple of slices there, and maybe it'll come out pretty easy this time. Last time I took a little more time, but that came out pretty good. I like it. I'm gonna wipe off that liquid there, the solvent juice. That's it, right? So that's that curved piece of glass. Let's see if I did a good job, okay? If I did a good job, it'll fit. Okay. Oh, but it only fits one way, so put it this way. Okay. Oh, isn't that nice? Ha! Make me so happy. Okay. Well, look. Isn't that nice? Well, so I'm actually pretty pleased at that. That went really, really well. Sometimes, when you're cutting glass, it doesn't go so well. I've had some pieces break on me today, but it didn't break on me on camera. Well, that's really cool. So anyway, but thanks for watching, and I'll be coming back to you at later dates with different types of stuff that we do here at Wood Window Makeover and at our museum. So, give us a shout, tell us what you think, leave us a comment, and, pass this along to some friends if you think it was worth watching. I had a good time going through it with you, so hopefully you got something out of it, and look forward to seeing you next time. Love you guys. Over and out. Bye.